communication, not just between us and communities, but between couples. And Tom, can you please introduce our guest for tonight?
Yeah. She is a licensed clinical social worker who has spent more than 25 years working with individuals, couples, and families. She presently serves as the in-house therapist for the Discovery Channel in Silver Spring, Maryland. He is a partner in the Washington, D.C. metro law firm of Joseph Greenwald and Lake, Pennsylvania. PA? PA. For more than a decade, he has been chosen as one of the area's top divorce lawyers by multiple publications and recognized as one of the best lawyers in America and a Washington, D.C. metro super lawyer. Oh, yeah, and they're married. Welcome, David and Julie Bulitt.
Yeah.
Welcome,
David.
we're married.
Oh, yeah. 34 years.
Almost, what are we hitting 35, right? Is it 35 this year? It'll be 35 in August.
Oh, that's
I
fantastic.
like to say the 17 happiest years of my life.
Nice.
That's
old joke.
Old joke. I can't let it
Yeah.
pass.
It's how did you guys meet all those years ago?
Oh, now there's a story for you. So you wanted my perspective or yours?
So I was dating a guy that really was a jerk, and my girlfriend said, like, he was supposed to call you a few hours ago. If he doesn't call you like soon, then you're going out with me. So I said, okay, I'm going to go out and I'm going to meet somebody else. So we went to a party. It was a fraternity house at University of Maryland. We were both at University of Maryland. And needless to say, I was drinking a little bit of gin and tonics. It was like two for one. 2 for 1.
That meant 4 when you were 2.
Yeah. So anyway, he walked in with a friend. The girlfriend that I was with knew the guy he was with. And I said, oh, that guy is so cute. And she goes, I know the guy he's with. We went running over. And it was love at first sight for me. And
well, we talk about this in our book. For her, it was love at first sight. For me, it was a whole different kind of reaction. But yes, yeah. It was definitely, it began with an L and ended with more of lust at first sight.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we met in college.
Yeah, met in college. So
wow.
I was 18 turning 19. Yeah.
Yeah, then I was a senior, so I was 22, I guess.
Yep.
Love it.
34 years. I'm not sure I've ever met a divorce attorney who's been married.
Well, I will tell you this, and people ask me about that, and the reality is that, aside from the fact we have a good relationship anyway, after a day of doing what I do, I don't have much left in the tank to argue. So, if she wants to, put a birdhouse on top of the roof, I put a birdhouse on top of the roof. You want the kid to dress in green and pink and orange and black. I don't do whatever you want to do. We're going to have yogurt for dinner for a week. Sure. It doesn't matter. But seriously though, it helps you appreciate what you do have when you see what others don't. So, and I mean, come on, how much better could I do? The answer is no.
There you go. Yeah. My parents did get divorced. It was actually an important part of my growing up here. But my mother always said she was a divorcee, but always wanted to be a widow. It was a great line.
Yeah,
Thanks,
that's a good line too.
Yeah, it's a good line.
Pass that one along.
Yeah,
it's good. So you also have an incredible book. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about your wonderful book, 5 Core Conversations for Couples? Yeah, I really want to explore this throughout the night.
So this was hatched, I guess, 4 or 5 years ago. We're sitting on the beach and we started talking and laughing about things that we've been through and lived through, and in some cases not laughing, but remembered some of the difficult things. And it struck me that maybe we could do something with it. I had written 2 novels that had been published before, fiction books, and so I said, let's see, maybe we can figure something out. So I literally had kept a bunch of notes for years, so just on things that had happened, funny things that she had said, because she's quite the character, by the way. And so we started going back through that. We remembered some of the things that happened, some of the stories we had, and we started to build this sort of I won't say multicultural, but it really is, because with me as a divorce lawyer and her as a therapist, different ways of looking at relationships and different ways at looking at what causes problems and what fixes problems. So that was kind of the birth of it. On the beach, one afternoon, we ended up staying there for 3 or 4 hours, just sort of banging it around, and that's what led to the start of the book.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I think fixing problems is one of the most important things that we can do. And we are very fortunate to have people sponsoring our shows who fix problem after problem. I mean, we are incredibly fortunate to have fixers as our sponsors. So with that in mind, Ben, let's take our first commercial break. We'll be right back with the Dr. Joe Show.
And we are back, and we are about to dive deeply into couples and relationships with the Bulitts. I am looking very much forward to this, Dr. Joe.
Yeah, me too. So let's get right into it. We're talking about the 5 core conversations. What is there an order to them, or
Yeah,
there is?
So if you think about a relationship, and I don't know about Thomas and Mark, whether you're married or not, but I know, Dr. Joe, you are. And so you think about, a relationship, right? And the first piece is the building, the filling the relationship. Is it going to work? If it's going to work, how do we have those building blocks?
Is it a good foundation?
Is it a good foundation? What do we do to build it, fill it up, and make it grow? And then you think about the 3 main areas of conflict in any relationship, right? Money, kids, sex. So there's the 3 others. And the last one is sort of a catch-all, that we call it's a balancing act, in which we have a lot of conversations and talk a lot about, and my golden retriever too, who you may be able to
I love it.
You're all about this.
Yeah.
I'm going to go.
No, I'm
let him
telling
in.
you, he's right in there with one of the core conversations.
We talk a lot about how to manage the I versus the we, and that it shouldn't be a versus, that people say there's no I in team, right? But we say there is an I in us, and there is an I in we, and there has to be. There's not that traditional, we're all, we're married, we're one heart, one soul. We don't buy into that ourselves. We just don't. So those are your 5 big core areas. Okay. And what the book does is it breaks all those areas down into multiple conversations that we've had in those particular areas over roughly 30, when the book was written, about 30 years worth of marriage.
Hmm. Yeah. That's fantastic. Of course, there's no I in sex either, I suppose.
Well, there can be.
Depends. Plus the birth of the porn industry.
Yeah.
How true.
And we do cover that in the core it's called bumping and grinding, and there's a whole sex several chapters.
We talk about pornography,
and we do because it's what, porn plays a part in relationships, in keeping relationships together sometimes, and also tearing them apart. I mean, David, of course, has people that have gotten divorced over porn, and I've dealt with it in my office. How to navigate that if somebody is interested in the other person maybe isn't, it could be an issue. So of course we're jumping right into the sex thing. That's like,
sorry about that. I'm a psychiatrist. What can I say? Let's just cut through all the resistance.
All right, Dr.
Right to the core.
Yeah.
Right to the core.
No, but I mean, so sex is obviously a big topic that is important for both keeping relationships together, but it also can break people up for a lot of times too. So. And
it's still about respect, right? I mean, it comes down to respect. Let's back up. I didn't mean to jump ahead.
It's okay.
I want to go to that first step. What are the foundations that you would recommend for a strong relationship that's going to be able to withstand whatever happens?
Well, I think that the main that one, people ask me, like, what are the most important things, as a therapist in a relationship? And I say communication and connection. Those are 2 really, really big things for me. So if you are able to communicate with your partner, and communication doesn't always mean sitting down and having a face-to-face discussion at the appropriate time. communication can be nonverbal. It can also be realizing when is the right time to talk to somebody and when is the wrong time to talk to somebody, right? And when to take a break because you might be angry or you might lash out or be saying things that are not okay to say, or hurtful. So communication isn't always, this neat little package. But it's an important part. And it's doing the hard things, having hard conversations and not being afraid of doing that. And then the other piece that we talk about throughout the book is connection and making sure that you stay connected. And we see a lot of couples that, sort of put the relationship on hold. They have kids, they get too busy, they're busy with jobs, they're busy with careers, and they think that they could just kind of come back to it on the weekend, so to speak, or after the kids are grown, and that just doesn't work. So I think if I could pick two things, it would be communication and connection in relationships.
Yeah. Mark, you are married. Tom, you're
That I am.
going to be one day. So what do you think? Is anything to apply here, or?
Yeah, I mean, there's everything, right? It's,
Put you on the spot here. I love doing this to Mark. My favorite moment.
It's amazing.
Hi, Julie. You listening? It's great.
Yeah.
Is your wife named Julie?
I'd like to take that opportunity to ask a question.
Sure.
And COVID.
Yeah.
Did that spike your business?
Whose business? Julie's or mine?
Well, both. Well, you're a marriage counselor too, right, Julie? Yeah.
Yes.
Both.
Yeah. I do. Yeah. I would say yes. It's spiked a lot of couples having difficulties, and it definitely has spiked your business. But there's also been some enhancements to relationships with COVID too.
I mean, we had we do some op-eds now and again. We put an article in the Baltimore Sun, and it sort of arose out of in some way that we're going to miss you, and because a lot of people have taken the time to take a breath,
Right.
and do things that you didn't otherwise do or you didn't take the time to do, and so I think that in a lot of ways, COVID's been a good thing for people who were open to it being a good thing. Then we had the people, so we get some emails and stuff. We had the one woman who wrote us who said that, she can't get a minute alone. She's writing to us from her closet, kind of thing.
Yeah.
She's cooped up. That's the only place she can be by herself because her husband's there, her kids are there, everybody's working or in school, not in school. And it was a difficult, hopefully very unique time that we won't have to live through again. There's my golden retriever with a squeak toy.
Yeah, he brought a squeaky toy.
That's great.
Yeah, so I think that both the good stuff is definitely come out of COVID, people slowing down, spending more time together, and then of course, it magnifies if you don't get along, if you were out of the house on purpose because you couldn't stand your partner, and all of a sudden you're thrown together, and it makes things more magnified for better or worse.
Yeah, but from a divorce lawyer standpoint, what happened was obviously people had no place to go, right? So folks who were thinking of separating, first of all, courts were closed for here in Maryland and the district for all intents and purposes for 3.5, 4 months, shut down, done, other than emergencies and that sort of thing. And so there was no ability to file for divorce, to move forward that way. And if somebody's thinking of leaving, where the hell are you going? Because all their apartments are closed. No one's letting you in. You can't look at houses. It was so from that perspective, it was a very interesting time for those of us who are divorce lawyers who need to find ways to think outside the box. And there he is with a squeak toy.
I love it. It's great. Bella's probably going to come in with her squeak toy too.
So it's like the War of the Roses kind of.
Yeah, that's it. You know what? That's exactly right. Without all the drama, no one was hanging from. Well, I don't know. Maybe they were. Was hanging from chandeliers, and probably not that many of us look like Michael Douglas, but that's a whole thing.
Your story about the foundation, when when Carol and I were first married, and we already had, let's see, I was in my first year of residency. And so as a first year resident, sometimes we would be in the hospital for 72 hours straight, straight up doing whatever we needed to do. And then I would come home, and Carol had been home with two babies, Sophie, who was maybe 2.5 by that time, and Jason, who was a newborn. And it was, I think, one of the only times in our lives where we were just at each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we realized that it wasn't us. It's that she was exhausted from her work with the kids, and I was exhausted from my work trying to save some lives. And when we got together, we just didn't have anything to give each other.
Yeah. You were empty.
Well, the tank was empty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The tank.
But
Yeah.
we spoke about that, but we talked about that.
Right. So what you did was make it not about, it wasn't a personal thing. It wasn't that you didn't, care for her or want to spend time with her. It was just that your tank was empty. And honestly, the last part, that fifth core, which is a balancing act, is a lot about that, filling your tank and making sure that you're ready to be in a relationship, and that you are doing things for yourself so that you can be part of the couple.
I mean, we have 4 daughters, right? And so it was not at all unusual. Certainly in the earlier days of our marriage, there was no internet, right? There was, computers were there, but there were the big giant boxes. There was no email. And so I was, I'm in the office every day, and you come home, and she looks like she's ready. If there was a shotgun, she'd put it to me, and then she'd put it to her own. I'm being facetious, but we were able to sort of see that in each other. You needed that time. So
I used
to get in the tub.
He would come home, and honestly, I would hand him the kids.
She'd be mad if I got a haircut. Right?
Because I didn't even get to go to the bathroom by myself. Why should you get a haircut?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so it was, we did things, but we communicated about it. So he would come home, he would see that I was done. I would say, I gotta go. I'd, go to the CVS to buy a nail polish or, some errand just so I could get out of the house. And, but we worked it out, and we talked about it. And, that's part, he didn't take it like, oh, I just came home from a busy day at work and you're, expecting me to do more. We discussed it. He knew that I was spent too, and this wasn't me, taking it out on him. It was what I needed.
Yeah, absolutely. Communication is everything, and being able to say, I need to take a break. Don't take it personally. I need to take a break. And that's exactly what we need to do right now, so that our sponsors can communicate. So we will take a break. We'll be back with the Dr. Joe Show. Ben, take it away.